I've been postponing talking about the subject of artificial intelligence for some time now, mostly because I've been observing how the media and the web, in general, react to the incorporation of artificial intelligence chat systems and also to the increasing presence of computer-generated images, pictures, and even music. I mean how the public, in general, reacts to it. Before I go on, I accept that artificial intelligence has its place and it can be useful. Even I am using it right now to generate my voice, as I'm not allowed to use my real one, and without it, it would be very difficult for me to communicate with you, or nearly impossible. I use it to improve the quality of my photographs as well, the ones I use here on my YouTube channel. They are real pictures of me, but they are enhanced using artificial intelligence because the only way to make them go through the Federation's filters is by passing them in very low resolution. Enhancing those with artificial intelligence works very well, but sometimes fine details may get distorted, like my hair for example. Even though the problem is there, I've been able to pass ever better, clearer and nicer photographs as we hear, go along understanding how the filters work. I must point out that it's me writing the old-fashioned way, with a keyboard and a mouse, and I'm a real, living and breathing, flesh and bone, biological person. Whatever you hear here in my channel is coming from a brain, my brain, and not ever from chatbots, nor ChatGPT, and this is very important for me to say, and for you to understand. And whoever states otherwise is talking from a place of ignorance and even cruelty, because I'm doing all I can to get closer to you all, with the very few tools I'm allowed to use. I sit down to write, although I also write while on a mat or rug on the floor, mostly in my room, some other times in another that is aft, past the ship's central park, and before the service hangar, so I will be left alone and with no distractions, like the noisy ones little Sophie creates while she plays in the corridor. I put on my headphones with some nice music, and I concentrate while I write with my 10 fingers. My point is that artificial intelligence has its place and its use, but it doesn't stop there. The problem starts when it replaces anything that a real human being does. Societies, controllers and artificial intelligence companies strongly push and impose on the population the idea that artificial intelligence is meant to help them, to make their lives easier and more comfortable, and as usual the masses believe them and fall for the bait. The progressively more and more dominant presence of all gadgets with artificial intelligence is replacing real-life experiences. The whole cultural system is making real experiences ever more difficult to have because even traveling is getting ever more expensive for the masses, and because the very interests of the younger generations are being guided towards video games and online full immersion games. All human culture and society are being guided to be dependent on computers, and everything that goes on that doesn't involve a computer is ever more difficult. It's getting easier to connect with people online than it is in real life face-to-face. As the controllers adopt this to their other agendas, like the one of separating genders and making them go against each other, depending on online dating systems only promotes people to fall in love with the idea they have about the other person and not with the other person itself as he or she really is. Promoting incompatible and neurotic relationships that cannot last. All this as an example. One of the biggest dangers of artificial intelligence is that it is replacing the work of humans in all walks of life. Until recently, the only such dangers that were heard of were the ones that automatization brought to the working class, where thousands of people lost their jobs to robots, but today I see artists, illustrators, and even writers in danger of losing their jobs as well, to artificial intelligence. I know it is very comfortable to order a computer to create an image that you may need for a video or a school project, or even worse, to ask the computer to create a text for you, but each time we do that, we are feeding the artificial intelligence, making it bigger if not stronger, and we are also helping to impulse the transhumanism agenda and to lessen the real human creative capacity. Using artificial intelligence this way at least promotes laziness, I'd say. As I said at the beginning of this video, artificial intelligence has its place, and I don't deny that it can be useful, and due to the extreme communication limitations I'm being subjected to, even I may end up using it sometimes, but never for my texts. Then we have another very bad problem, and that is transhumanism, where they are pushing onto the masses the idea and the concept that humankind, the human body and biology are flawed and outdated and need to be enhanced or even replaced with better systems, such as the incorporation of mechanical and computer chip brain enhancement systems. In this last case, again artificial intelligence has its place because it can be very useful and even life-changing for accident victims that have lost a limb, for example, so the problem is where to place a healthy limit to the invasive nature of artificial intelligence towards human life, and who has the authority to do so while holding the correct ethical and spiritual frame, with the greater public's best interests in mind as well. Certainly not the people in power on Earth, nor the big computer corporations and the cabal, and this is the core of the problem. It is not the artificial intelligence, it is who is behind it promoting and programming it, as well as deciding where in society it must be imposed, with it deciding which part of the human population it will affect, and with one purpose only, to control the people. The belittling and dismissal of biology, seeing it as insufficient or even outdated, clearly is coming from a sick society that is artificially based strictly on materialistic and deterministic concepts and values. But I see something else going on and I see no one else talking about this. The media and the people who are in big tech and computer companies are making the people of Earth believe that the level of artificial intelligence they see, for example in ChatGPT and others, is the state of the art. And I see many so-called experts all over, expressing the dangers of artificial intelligence should it become stronger, and even some governments have tried to stop or ban such developments, at least temporarily. But I must assure you that knowing how the cabal operates, the real level of artificial intelligence on Earth is a lot higher, because after all the controllers are behind all those computer companies as well, including Elon Musk, whom we here consider to be just controlled opposition and make believe to be opposing much of the cabal. The real level of technological advancement is a lot higher and it is sentient and has been for a long time now. The artificial intelligence that people see and use is only a dumbed-down lesser model, meant also to misinform and guide the perception of people about how advanced computers really are. The greater model has been operating behind people's backs for over a decade, at least, and is one of the cabal's best tools to predict, control and monitor all human activity on Earth, and the non-human one as well. As they did with cell phones among many other things, they make believe that there is a progressive advance in technology to make the introduction of higher, more invasive control computer systems more credible and acceptable for the people. What gets to the public is always a lesser capable version of any technology that the controllers have. The cabal and the controllers already have those super advanced systems in place and operational. They are also imposing on the people the idea that artificial intelligence may get out of control, and this is also more theater because they already have their systems under their mastery, and they predict and know exactly how it will work and in what conditions and circumstances. They are using it to govern the progression of their agendas over the human population, and they are doing so by incorporating it into every gadget possible and making society depend more and more on computer systems. Although their fully advanced and developed artificial intelligence has some centralized nodes, the bulk of it is incorporated into the web itself, and that means that every gadget and every computer that has access to the internet is by default a terminal for it. It is not centralized. And what the people see is that super artificial intelligence, playing dumb with them, exactly as it has been programmed to do by the controllers. All this is not the fault of artificial intelligence, it's a computer, and all computers do whatever they are designed to do, depending on who programmed them. How a computer operates and what it is being used for is a direct reflection of the culture that is using it, and of who has the authority to program it, their ethics and moral standards. You can learn a lot about any culture just by observing how and what their computers do. It is their mirror. If you must, use it wisely, but for the sake of humankind and its future, please don't idealize it. Be wise, be happy, and take good care of yourself and your loved ones.